Winter is coming. No, this is not a new Game of Thrones episode. That's going to make up for the disappointing last few seasons of that phenomenal show. This is kneppyinvests, and winter is coming. We are now into April, and this changing of the seasons is my favorite time of the year because I eventually do become sick of the heat and humidity of summer, and I do long for winter. And the same thing happens actually in September. I actually do long for the heat and humidity. So I'm one of those people who always wants change, and that's why I love this time of year. But there is actually another reason I love April, and it's because it is Appendix 4C month. It comes 4 times a year, and April is one of those months. So, as a homage to Appendix 4C month, I'm going to give you 4 ASX stocks to watch in this video, and then I'm going to give a second episode and give you 4 other ASX stocks to watch in this month. And all these 8 companies, the reason I'll be talking about them is because they will all release an Appendix 4C later in the month, and I'm excited to see how they're doing. So let's get into what Appendix 4C actually is, because some of you might not know. Yeah, so it's a good question. What is an Appendix 4C? And the simplest way to put it is a quarterly cash flow statement. So every single company on the ASX has to give out a half-yearly report and a yearly report, and within that there are financial statements. And one of those financial statements is a cash flow statement. So all companies have to give out a yearly and a half-yearly cash flow statements. There are some companies on the ASX who actually have to give out that cash flow statement 4 times a year instead of 2. So what are those companies? Well, typically they are small cash flow negative companies. And that's the big thing here, cash flow negative. And what I'm looking for is those companies who have been cash flow negative, who have or are transitioning into becoming cash flow positive, because I found in the past that's an important inflection point for a growing company. So in a cash flow statement, what you usually find are cash flows from operations or operating activities, investing and financing activities. I'm mostly concerned with the cash flows from operating activities. Now, there are 4 months there where companies have to release Appendix 4C, and they are in January, April, July, and October. So they have to release their Appendix 4C by the end of the month. Now, what do I look for in an Appendix 4C? So the first thing I go straight to is the cash receipts, and actually that is the first line. And then in the operating activity section, we'll see if they are operating cash flow positive or negative. Now, in the investing and financing activities, I also do look at the capital expenditure, which is in the investing activities. I also look at cash on hand to see if that's increased or decreased compared to the previous quarter. I'm also looking at the loans, because sometimes when you look at the loan particulars, you can see some not weird stuff there, but you can see how much interest they have to pay on these loans. And for some of these small companies, even though the interest rates are really low right now, sometimes the interest rates on the loans they have to repay are upwards of over 10%. So you can see, even though interest rates are low now, sometimes companies have really bad loans with exorbitant interest rates they have to repay. And I like to see what companies have those sort of loans. First company on the list today is Cider, and for full disclosure purposes, I do own this company. And in all the companies I'll be looking at, I'll be showing you the cash receipts history over a certain period of time, and also the share price chart. So the first thing I'll look at here is share price chart. So this goes back 3 years, and for the first about a year or so of this period, the share price was just going sideways. And then the company hit an inflection point in June of 2019. The share price went from 10 cents and went to 80 cents in about 6 or 7 months. So an 8-bagger in that period of time is no laughing matter. It's a great thing for shareholders, and I was fortunate enough to be a shareholder through most of this time period. So the market cap currently is 125 million, and they do have revenue of 30 million. That's the last 12 months or so. But you can see the share price has been going sideways over the past about 14 or so months. Now that's actually a very healthy sort of price action, because what's happening now is a financial situation of the company is trying to catch up to the share price increase we saw from July or June 2019 to January 2020. And we are seeing the cash receipts increasing at a very healthy rate. In fact, the compound quarterly growth rate of cash receipts is at 54% per quarter. And so we can see there in that graph on the top right there, in July 2019, it was quite low. In the most recent quarter, we did see cash receipts above $10 million in that quarter. Now, this company did make a recent acquisition. Now, I haven't read too deep into this acquisition, so I am planning to read up on the acquisition during the Easter long weekend. But it's in the water and wastewater management side of things. So on first impressions, it looks quite good, and it opens up a new sort of area for this company to explore. And the company they have bought is already profitable, it's already making money, and that's really good. I like that sort of acquisition, and the fact it opens up a whole new division for the company is another reason I'm fairly bullish on this acquisition. Now on to Alcidion. Now, when you look at the chart for Alcidion, you'll notice a breakout in the share price on the 9th of November. And the reason for that breakout was the announcement of a $9.5 million deal. So that announcement was a breakout, and the share price has just been going higher ever since then. In fact, it's almost doubled in price, which means the market cap of Alcidion is $297 million currently. And when you compare that to the revenue, which is $22 million trailing 12 months, and when you look at the trending cash receipts, it suggests that the market is expecting something special from Alcidion in the future, because the cash receipts have not grown over the past 2 and a bit years. In fact, if I compare October 2018 receipts, which was about $5 million, to the most recent quarter, which was about $4.5 million, the cash receipts have actually gone backwards. So again, the market is expecting something special from Alcidion in the next few years, and that's why I'm interested in the next Appendix 4C. Are we going to get that growth in this current quarter, or is that growth in future quarters? So I think it's very important that we see some sort of growth in their cash receipts over the next few years to justify the market cap of this company right now. The third company I'll be looking today is Secos Group. This is not a company I've followed that closely over the years. They are into sustainable packaging, so not really exciting sort of area of business they're in. But when you look at the chart has done wonderful things over the past year. So this is the yearly chart, and the share price a year ago was 5 cents, and right now it's 28 cents, and that's more than a 5-bagger. So you'd always take that if you've been holding a company in that time period. But when you look at the chart, you'll notice a breakout in the share price in July of 2020. And the reason for that breakout was Woolworths selected Secos as supplier of combustible bag range. And that was the definite breakout. Share price more than doubled in one day. Now, some people won't buy on breakouts like this, particularly if there's a gap, because they believe that gaps always fill. And it's just shown here, gaps don't always fill. It's a myth. They don't always fill, particularly if they're a breakout on really positive news. So the market loved this announcement, and the share price has just kept on climbing higher and higher during the subsequent months. In fact, it's gone from 10 cents all the way up to 28 cents currently, which means the market cap of the company is $144 million, revenue of only $24 million in the trailing 12 months. And just like Alcidion, when you look at the cash receipts, nothing much is going on there. In fact, cash receipts over the past 4.5 years has been sideways, so no growth yet. So the market is expecting this deal with Woolworths to really put up a bullet up the cash receipts of this company, and it remains to be seen. And that's why I'm excited and watching this company to see if that growth in cash receipts does happen. The market is expecting it, but the market can be wrong. Will it be wrong here? Well, it remains to be seen. And finally, for this video, we'll be looking at Raiz. Now, Raiz, I don't follow all that closely. I do have I did have that app on my phone at one point. Now, the market cap of the company is $115 million, revenue of only $9.3 million in the last 12 months. But the thing that got me interested in this company was the chart. Another really nice looking chart with the share price going from about 70 cents all the way to a high of $2.20. And then we've seen a bit of weakness in the last 2 months or so, with the share price going from $2.20 to about $1.40 or so. Unlike the last two companies I've looked at, Alcidion and Secos, cash receipts have been growing, and that's the main thing with Raiz. And they've been growing at a nice steady rate, 9% per quarter, and that's exactly the sort of thing I like to see. And that's another reason I'm sort of interested in this company, particularly if there's any sort of share price weakness, and if they do become cash flow positive, I would even become more interested in this company. So that's a reason I put this onto my watch list, for the possibility of them becoming cash flow positive, in particularly if they can grow their cash receipts even further from this point. So that's all I've got for this video of 4 ASX stocks to watch in April 2021. I'll give you the other 4 in another video tomorrow. Otherwise, I'm not a financial advisor, so if you do need any financial advice, make sure you seek out someone who is qualified and can speak to your own financial needs. That's all for this video. Have a good day. Bye.